Coming up on CTV Sports, the SCCAL Championships. As undefeated Soquel, led by hard-hitting Bria Morgan, and Kamala Sippin's Cruz, setted by Regina Graves, take on a strong middle block of Carly De La Rosa, Markenna Welsh, for Mark Hull's Aptos Mariners. It's a good old-fashioned rivalry, Aptos and Soquel for a championship, coming up on CTV Sports. Welcome to beautiful Scotts Valley High School for the SCCAL Championships here in volleyball with Santa Cruz volleyball guru Shel Nielsen. My name is Tim Swartz, and we look at this matchup between these two teams, two very good teams and two very different teams.
Well, they're very different, although they are equally matched physically. They approach the game in a much different way. I think the coaches have done a great job of getting their teams here and in position for a chance to win. It comes down to making the plays to make the win happen.
Let's check out what happened last time these two teams were in action. Just one game for both these teams in the tournament. It was last night at Soquel High School.
Well, last night at Soquel High School, Soquel took on a Madonna team, and I just want to do a proud shout out to the Madonna crowd because it was in a crazy, crazy scene out there. And big props to them, although they took down the Madonna team in 3.
And on the other side, Aptos had another 3-set sweep.
They went through a tough road. They played the Harbor team, a very physically talented team, maybe the most talented team in the league, but they just couldn't put it together to get here to the finals.
Shel, one final question before we get to the pregame. It looks like, when we look at this court, probably the best player in the league in action tonight.
Well, she is the setter for Soquel, and she makes everyone around her better, and that's what makes her the best player in the league.
Now watch out for number 5, Regina Graves, during this game, the setter for the Soquel Knights. Coming up, we'll have the first serve between these two teams. We'll also delve a little bit deeper into this matchup. It's the game of the week volleyball style here on CTV Sports. Back here at the SCCAL Championships here at Scotts Valley High School here on CTV Sports for girls volleyball. CTV Sports is a presentation of community television in Santa Cruz County, a nonprofit membership organization serving county residents by providing education and tools to access media. Visit us at communitytv.org. This presentation is made possible in part by the support of Cruz.io Internet, Santa Cruz County's largest independent internet service provider, offering high-speed wireless internet, a co-location data center, and flexible workspaces with 10 gigabytes of fiber internet. Details online at cruzio.com. And by Santa Cruz Diner, where you'll always find great food at a reasonable price. Family owned and operated since 1998, Santa Cruz Diner is kid-friendly and offers a wide selection of traditional and vegan items. Their great staff and comfortable atmosphere make you feel right at home. Featured on the Food Channel, easy to find on Ocean Street in Santa Cruz, on the web at santacruzdiner.com. Great food, priced right at the Santa Cruz Diner. So back here with Shel Nielsen, Tim Swartz along with you. We'll look at the two coaches and their keys. We'll start out with the Soquel Knights and Kamala Sippin and her 3 keys to this match.
Kamala wants her team to play together. Even though they have role players and some star players, they got to wrap it all in one cohesive unit. They want to pass effectively so they can move the ball around, and they want to, well, the third clue, move the ball around.
Our strengths of our teams definitely that they work really hard. They're going to go after every single ball. Even if it looks like it's a dead ball, they're going to go after it, and it's not over until the whistle blows. So that's always one of our strengths. And with us going after Aptos, we know that it's a championship match on top of a rivalry between Soquel and Aptos, so there's no questions about it. Both teams are going to show up to play, and we just need to bring everything that we have, energy, technique, athleticism. We're just going to have to deliver.
And Coach Sippin has done quite a job, 14-0 in league. On the other side, for Mark Hull, his keys to this match for the 12-2 second-seeded Aptos Mariners.
Well, they need to pass well and serve well to bring the pressure against the Soquel team, and they need to take care of their own side of the net.
I think one of our team's strengths in particular is that we're a solid blocking team. I think that that's going to allow us to hopefully slow them down and be able to make them change their swings a little bit. Hopefully, we'll also be able to serve so we can predetermine who's going to get the ball. We're going to try to do that kind of stuff. I think a lot of our strengths is that there are 5 seniors out there who've been playing volleyball together since the 7th grade, and they get along really strong. I think those are some of our strengths.
All right, so it's a very experienced Aptos team that will take the court tonight as we look at our game officials. Mark Brewer, Dave King will be the 2 main officials. The line judges and they'll be on the corners with the flags. Will be Matt Goodman and Rick Schroeder. So a tremendous officiating crew tonight. Look at the standings, and overall, it's without a doubt the 2 best teams so far this season.
Number 1 and number 2 taking 2 totally different paths and playing the game in 2 totally different manners. We have the SoCal team at 14-0, and you got to understand how different it is to be the front leader all the way through, going into practice every day. No one pushing you, you're only pushing yourselves.
And Aptos has gone 12-2. Their only 2 losses were to the SoCal Knights. We look at these tournament results. It's been clean sweeps in all the matches other than the SLV defeating St. Francis. First round match, as we mentioned, last night. It was at SoCal High School. Aptos defeated Harbor in 3 sets. SoCal defeated Mount Madonna in 3. You were there for both of them. Any thoughts from those matches?
Well, you saw the different emotional states of the 2 teams. The SoCal team is emotionally strong. They are a driven team, self-driven. Their coaches are driven, and it's a very focused team. The Aptos team, a little more loose. The responsibilities on the team are spread out through multiple players. They come at it in different kinds of ways. We'll see those things play out on the game tonight, and we'll see which one comes out on top.
Yeah, SoCal, that Mount Madonna victory, 25-8, a real impressive first game score in rally scoring. So we'll take one final break. When we come back, the first serve, Aptos and SoCal for the league championship, coming up next on CTV Sports. Welcome back here to Scotch Valley High School for the SCCAL Championship, the SoCal Knights and the Aptos Mariners. Here with Santa Cruz Volleyball guru Shell Nielsen. My name is Tim Swartz, and we're here courtside for this great matchup, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit in our first 2 segments. Let's get into it a little bit more at length. These are 2 really different teams. We start out with the starters for SoCal. They have 3 players to look out for.
They really do. Their libero, their setter, and their outside hitter are the mainstays of their team. And they lead by example. Not high vocal people, just lead by example from play to play. They have role players that come in. I don't want to diminish their role. Everything they do is completely necessary to come up to a perfect season so far in the league.
Yeah, that's Coach Sippen, who has done a very good job on the other side. For Coach Hull, he's looking for a really balanced attack when we look at their starting lineup. And Shannon Cotton's a very good setter for them.
She's a really good setter, and she spreads around. So if you look at the stats after their wins, each hitter has 7, 8 kills spread out evenly amongst the group. Whereas on the other side of the ball, the predominant hitters will have 10, 12 kills in a game.
And that's one of their big middle blockers, McKenna Walsh, who we saw during basketball season last year on CTV Sports. So you can see a lot of basketball players who play volleyball. Jean Graves, who is Shell has mentioned, maybe the best player in Santa Cruz County. She was a great basketball player for the SoCal Knights. And overall, we look at this matchup, and what is a strength for each of these teams in terms of Aptos being a team which anybody can hit, and on the other side, SoCal, where they kind of have a little bit more dialed in?
Well, let's look at Aptos first. When anyone on your team is good enough to lead at any moment during a game, it's tough for a defense to know who they're going to key on. On the other side, with SoCal, you know in crunch time where the ball is going to go and where it's going to be coming from. But both those things come with their own problems and successes.
So for Aptos, their starters, as we saw, Cotton will be wearing number 1 as the setter, and she'll be able to dial up about 5 different options. Both these teams are playing the traditional 5-1 offenses as opposed to the 6-2 that we saw from Harbor in the semifinals. And basically, a 5-1 means, Shell?
Well, 5-1 means one setter is delivering the ball when the offense is going in system to all the hitters at the same time. For the entire night. And a 6-2, the setters will switch as they go into the back row, supplying 3 hitters in the front row. That has some advantages, but like I said, the 2 sides of each puzzle, with more advantages and more hitters, comes 2 setters and not as cohesive a unit.
As you saw, both teams take the floor, the traditional handshakes, and Camille Strieber is the 5'6" senior libero for SoCal that was not part of our original 6, but she'll have a free substitution. That's a change about, 7 or 8 years ago in terms of you're able to have a player who is just on the back line.
Well, you see her in the back row. She'll be wearing a different color shirt, a white jersey tonight, and she takes control of the entire back row, leads the defense like a quarterback, talking about where the hitters are coming from and how they're going to handle covering their court.
One of the 2 captains for SoCal, as both these teams come out in very similar uniforms. Both are wearing the navy tops, gold numbers for the SoCal Knights, and the Mariners with the silver numbers. You see Graves has not committed to play Division I volleyball yet, but we're just talking to Coach Sippin. Says she likes the Chicago area. A lot of good teams out there. Loyola, I know, is out there. Northwestern, Northern Illinois is Graves with the first serve of the match. Cotton, forward set left for Wilson. It was one of the 5 starting seniors for Aptos. Into the nets for Bria Morgan to start out this match, and the first point goes to Aptos.
Well, they got the point, but they started out with the tip, and you saw that it was covered easily by the setter from SoCal.
Back to serve, Shannon Cotton, the setter, the lone non-senior in the starting 6. And that one just hits off the line, a service ace early on.
Well, straight out of Mark Cole's keys of the game, serve tough. You can get an offense out of their system and make them much easier to defend with tough serving.
And coming into this match, Aptos has dropped 2 matches to Soquel. They're a little bit of the underdog. We mentioned they're pretty even, but they have lost 2 in a row. It looks like serving is one of those things that can kind of turn the balance in terms of an upset.
Well, when you're at the service line, you're equally athletic from 30 feet away as anybody else on the court. It doesn't matter whether you're 5'4". Although a nice one-handed set by Regina. Mentioned earlier about how she makes everyone else around her better. She made a bad pass look like a really good situation.
And a service ace for Morgan. She's committed to play for the Hawaii Warriors and Coach Shoji. And another tough serve. Hits off to the stands. And there's 2 aces in a row for Soquel.
You can almost break the game down into the serving game and the volleyball game, and you can dominate either and come out a victor.
Morgan, 6-footer, slated to play outside hitter, and a quick set. And McKenna Walsh, also a very good basketball player, with the kill.
But you saw there the pass on the money, multiple options, go to the quick in the middle. Actually caught Regina sleeping on defense for a second.
Wilson down the line, taken well by Morgan. Graves sets to the left side, down the line, it's dug out. Over a tip, Graves reads it out. Back line for Morgan, tipped at the net by Walsh. They'll set left for Miyashita, and she's just a little bit short. Cotton sets Miyashita way outside of the antenna, but she'll be able to kill it as Strieber wasn't exactly in the right spot. 4-3 early lead for Aptos.
The outside hitter for Aptos right now, 5'4" on the outside, a high jumper is their other sport, can get up and really deliver the ball.
Yeah, Miyashita, who is just 5'4", but she's playing very well. Another set for Savoca, who's the middle blocker, 6'1" sophomore.
One of the people that come in for the front row, you'll see them change their front row players, their middle blockers, and their defenders as they rotate around the court.
Strieber, ready to serve, just over the net, hard one to take. Cotton set straight up in the air, down the line, and Bowl with the kill.
Alex Bowl with her favorite swing down the line. 6'1", she can block, she can set. Takes care of her, going to pose a real big problem for some of the hitters on the other side of the court.
And she is, we look at her, kind of a tall 6'1". She's got really long arms, and she used them there as Graves shows her athletic ability just to keep that point alive. It's sent over 3 by Soquel. Bowl again, cross-court just in.
This time for the big angle, her next favorite hit. You will not see her tip much tonight, I can guarantee it.
We mentioned she looks like she has really long arms, maybe a wingspan of 6'4", 6'5". What's the advantage there?
Well, you don't have to move your feet as much. You can reach out. You can create a blocking situation where you take more space along the net.
6 serving 4 with Walsh, the 5'9" senior middle blocker. Very powerful hitter as they lead the tip. It's sent back in to Faith Polskis. Over, short set in the middle, tipped out. And Carly DeRosa puts it away for the first time. 7-4 Aptos early.
Well, that time, Bowl again with those long arms you talked about, making that block at the net and then transitioning that into a point.
Short serve, way too short from Walsh. It'll be 5 serving 7. Now we talked about it a little bit off the air, the 2 matchups, and it's been maybe a hill to climb for Aptos, and they're on the right way up of climbing this hill of Soquel.
Well, when they first played Soquel in the beginning of the year, beaten in 3 in their own building. Came back the next time, went to Soquel, went 4, so they're making progress. They've got to go to practice every day, knowing what they need to improve on to rise to this challenge today.
Another kill for Miyashita, the 5-4 outside. Notice how far off the net she is.
Correctly right now?
Oh, just on the kill.
On the kill? Well, so for a smaller player like that, we don't want to play at the net. We want to play away from the net so she can use her forward progress. But you're going to find that she's going to challenge the block on a repetitive basis tonight and not try to avoid it.
Cassidy Donaldson, who is a defensive specialist, serves it in. Good rotation here for Soquel. Just a little bit long for Miyashita. And that is kind of the problem, too, if you're 5'4", is to get it over and in.
Well, that was just a timing situation. They ran an X where the right side player came around the front one to try to create a hitting lane, and the pass was too far off the net.
Left side, through the double block for DeRosa. She's listed as a middle blocker, but we saw her with the outside attack there.
Well, that's what you're going to see out of this team is the players can play front row, back row, inside and out. They can play out of the middle and the back. That's the second time DeRosa's hit the ball off the block for a kill, not avoiding it.
Miyashita, nice serve. Graves just keeps it alive. Sent over free by Donaldson. And a little bit too long, and Coach Sippin's going to call her first timeout of the match. 10-7, the lead early on for the Aptos Mariners. And we'll talk to Coach Sippin, as we did, about the senior leadership.
We have 3 seniors who've been on varsity for 4 years and 1 who's been on varsity for 3 years. Last year we had no seniors, so this year they were all more than willing to step up and be leaders. They've been on the team for 3 to 4 years now. They've been eager to be the leaders of the team, and they are absolutely showing up, delivering. First one's in the gym, last one's the lead, talking all the time to the team on the court, off the court, and not only do they lead that way, but they show up when it's game time and absolutely deliver. So I couldn't ask for more from my seniors.
She couldn't get more from her seniors. I told you I saw them play the other night. They set the tone on the court with their play. They lead by example. From night to night, no matter what the score is, they play the same way, and that's how you have to approach it if you want to be a champion.
10 serving 7. Miyashita tips this one off the net. Graves keeps this alive, and it's sent over free by Streeter. Cotton, left side, sets Wilson down the line. Again, nice set from Cotton.
A big line hit, the hardest hit to achieve in the sport. If you can make people defend the line hit, you can really cause some holes in other places.
11 serving 7. Miyashita on this rotation has been very strong serving, but the big swing from Morgan.
There you see the high swing to the corner. Easy to repeat that. Not a lot of risk involved going to the biggest part of the court, high and hard. Allows you to be aggressive for the whole night.
Alex Quinn, a middle blocker, one of the senior leaders that Coach Sippin was complimenting. The slicing serve just a little bit beyond the 10-foot line. Over to the left side. It is put away by DeRosa, who has kind of slipped into an outside hitter slot tonight.
She's hit from the left, she's hit 2 out of the middle, and now from the right. And that was what we talked about, the variance of an offense when you don't have one player relying on you, can spread it around.
12 serving 8. DeRosa, 5'10" senior. And a missed return on the serve, and another point for the Aptos Mariners. Mark Hull has gotten his team to play with a lot of passion tonight.
Well, they're doing it with those keys. They're winning the serving battle right now. I'd say the volleyball game is pretty even, but the serving tipping towards the Aptos.
Here's another tough serve and another ace. Aptos to the middle with DeRosa picking up an ace, and that's the easiest way to win a point.
Well, DeRosa had a jump floater for most of the beginning of the season, and she hurt her shoulder a little bit. She's gone away from it, worked out a tougher serve from the back line. And I got to tell you, she's got to be really happy right now. She had a hard time serving tough in the middle of the year.
Back-to-back aces. Coach Sippin at the line trying to get her players to come up a little bit. There's a deeper float serve, and that'll give problems to the Soquel Knights. That's a perfect adjustment. They had kind of the shorter serve. She went with the longer serve when the defense came up, and another ace.
Well, the entire idea of offense is to create a threat, make someone over-adjust to it, which creates another opening, and then if you do it on timely fashion, you attack the opening that you've created.
Aptos 16-8, another deep serve, and Graves will just send it over to get a rally going. But off the back foot, cross court, Wilson with the kill. 17-8 for Aptos, the upstart Mariners.
Well, to break the momentum right here, Soquel, I can guarantee you, once they get control of the ball, they're going to give it to their lead killer on the outside, number 6, and she's going to take a big swing to that corner again.
And Morgan, the Hawaii commit. And they will try to set it to Morgan. It's dug out in the back line by DeRosa. Wilson over the left side. Good dig from the backside for Donaldson. Morgan is not able to put it away. Miyashita. Bowl is blocked at the net. It's kept alive, but then double hit by Wilson. And finally, Soquel is able to win one inside out.
But you can't be upset if you're Aptos. You made them work for it hard. You make multiple plays. You keep the pressure on. You make serving tough, coming back the other way, a hard thing to do.
Graves,
and there it is. That's what I talked about. When people know they're going to have to work for things, they start pressing a little bit. Can't just serve it in and rely on your play. Pressure changes everything.
18-9. Aptos leads Soquel. Soquel in this season is 28-4, and they are 14-0 in league, and they also won the semifinal match against Mount Madonna, so 15-0 in league. Wilson, deep. Donaldson's had a couple of nice digs. Off balance, and it looked like it must have been just tipped. Bowl down the line. Donaldson, about her 5th dig in the last 3 points. Morgan just tips it back over. Another nice rally. Bowl off her back foot, cross court. Just tipped the layup by David. Morgan this time finds the open space.
Yeah, a little out of position for the Aptos defense. Left the angle wide open. They're playing the tip with their outside hitter coming inside. You'll watch the Soquel team play the tip with their setter coming behind the block.
Faith Topolski's on the rotation back into the front court. Faith, during our spring season of CTV Sports, had a home run in the softball match we had between these two schools. As that one just in. And it's 19-10. Are you a little bit surprised by the margin in this first set?
I'm not surprised at all. I think we're evenly matched. I talked to Mark after their match last night, and I said if they can get off to a quick start, that leadership won't be a problem, and they can mow this team over if they could. They're physically talented enough to do it.
Nice dig by Wilson on the back line. Short set, Walsh can't put it away. Graves sets middle. This one's into the net. Cotton playing great defense, and it's sent over. Back line, Morgan. It's dug out into the net. The double block and the double touch. Actually, a lift call.
A lift called off a block, but I told you earlier that Nikki, the outside hitter at 5'4", was going to challenge the block at her height. That ball into the block, deflected around, almost an impossible ball to defend.
It is 20-10. Aptos is leading Soquel. We've mentioned the Knights are 15 for 15 playing against SCCAL teams. So listen in to Coach Sippen as she talks into her team.
Not against Presentation, not against Los Gatos, not against St. Ignatius, not against any of those top teams that we've played. So we need to figure it out right now. You guys are all great players, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to shake off being afraid.
And she was talking about some of the teams they played non-league, the Los Gatos Wildcats, Presentation, St. Ignatius. And here's a replay of the last point. Wilson, who was able to put it away.
Into the angle. She is another, I mean, one of 5 players they have that could rise and lead at any one time. We've seen DeRosa do it for the most part coming in, and honestly, it could be another player in the next game, and that is the puzzle that they give to the other team.
20-10, Aptos leads Soquel in the first set of what could be as many as a 5-set match. Substitution into the match is Madison Roca, and she replaces Gabby David. There's a nice serve from Wilson that's taken in the back line. Apolskis is blocking the nets, and a miscommunication between Wilson and DeRosa equals a point for Aptos.
Well, that time the outside hitter, also of smaller stature, challenges the block of Aptos, and there's really no one on the court that is signified for the deflection off the block because no one knows where it's going. It's a very tough thing to handle.
Strieber, a little bit of an overpass, and it's tipped down. Walsh is roofed by Alex Quinn, her first kill.
Not a very good pass, but on the ledger of what passes are good and bad, that's the best mistake you can have, pushing the ball forward.
12 serving 20. Cotton sets, Walsh short, tips off the net and through, 21-12.
You'll notice that the Aptos middles run kind of a slower attack in the middle. It's part of their well-roundedness. That's why they can hit the ball on the outside and the right side too. When Soquel runs their middle attack, you'll see that it's a much quicker pace.
Walsh to serve, middle blocker at 5'9", a senior. Deep serve. Graves, back set, Roca, rejected at net. Graves, another back set, Morgan off the back line, can't put it away. Cotton, Bowl, down the line, it's dug out by Strieber. Graves sets off her back foot, Opolsky saves.
Well,
it's 13-21.
An interesting changeup. Bowl goes back to her line hit down the line. This time the libero for Soquel is playing left back instead and handles that ball down the line. As you see right there in the white shirt.
So Strieber kept that point alive over the left side. And what a powerful shot, tipped at the net. Miyashita again, about her fourth kill of this first set.
Once again, going after the hands, attacking the taller players. If she avoids the block, it only gets bigger.
Alex Bull, right side player. Serves it down the line. Takes Morgan out of the point as Roca with a roll shot, and it's handled easily. Bull off the back line, just tips it over. Graves sets left side. Opolsky's on the missed tip, and look up at the scoreboard, 23-13. Aptos is cruising in this first set.
Well, we're never going to call it cruising. It's a wide margin, but with the scoring the way it is and evenly matched, when we start the next game, it can go either way.
Bull, long, and the umpire gets out of the way as that one is out.
So how do you feel about jinxing her there, Tim? It was cruising, and all of a sudden we're serving the ball out of bounds.
A little bit of a bump in altitude. We got to the cruising altitude. That's the great thing about volleyball, too, is every set is really a new match.
Well, that is the comeback. Some people say that with the rally scoring that there is no comebacks. But 0-0 in the next game is the comeback.
Backline Bull. You always like to see the players with long arms in the backline attacks, but Quinn responds with a tip. And Coach Hull coming off the bench. What do you think he's telling his team right now?
Well, Mark and I talked earlier, and it's just a situation where tips cannot go down. You cannot lose to a team that's going to roll the ball on your side of the court.
Walsh took the serve very well, and that was a little bit different. Miyashita, an outside hitter up the middle.
It's the second time she came around the corner for the X play. Last time she hit out of balance, this set a little bit better. Once again, attack the net and the blocker. Little deflection, finds a hole in the defense, ball goes down.
We have our first set point of this match, 24-15. Miyashita tips it off the net. Quinn's able to collect it. Morgan able to put it away.
Well, and right now, it's really not about winning this game. It's about that play, making a good pass, setting it outside to your leading player, and establish a rhythm for the next game.
Alex Quinn, middle blocker, floats it. Cotton sets left. Wilson with the roll shot. Morgan able to keep it alive, and Graves decides just to tip it over herself.
Well, as part of the discussion, this Soquel team is so well disciplined in defense. You'll notice that every time the Aptos team has tipped it, there's been a person standing right on it. It is not the way they're going to win this game.
Alex Quinn to serve again. 6'1" sophomore. 2 more years of her here in the SCCAL. One of the best middle blockers. Walsh serves it deep, and Roca didn't know to put the hands under or over. First set, 25-17, going to the way of the Aptos Mariners.
Well, she got caught in the middle on digging that ball. But you see a back row attack from the middle blocker who's also playing defense in the middle of the court, a well-rounded athletes.
And we want to thank everybody who's helped us out to put this presentation on CTV Sports. Cruz.io Internet, Santa Cruz County, largest independent internet service provider, offering high-speed wireless internet, a co-location data center, and flexible workspaces with 10 gigabytes of fiber internet. Details online at cruzio.com. And by Santa Cruz Diner, where you'll always find great food at reasonable prices. Family owned and operated since 1998. Santa Cruz Diner is kid-friendly and offers a wide selection of traditional and vegan items. Their great staff and comfortable atmosphere will make you feel right at home. Featured on the Food Channel, easy to find on Ocean Street in Santa Cruz, on the web at santacruzdiner.com. Great food, priced right, at the Santa Cruz Diner. So we'll take a look at the point that won this first set for the Aptos Mariners in just a moment. 25-17, Aptos took the first set, and here's the final kill.
Well, we got a middle blocker taking a swing from the back row. She got caught in between whether to play the ball below her waist or above her waist, and probably was wondering whether it was in or out.
So you look at these Soquel Knights, and this is something that we really haven't seen all this season, them dropping the first set in SCCAL play.
Well, truly, this is a great situation for them. I mean, the game wasn't even close, as we saw by the scoreboard. Sorry. Oh, they're faced with a challenge right now. I think they obviously have the talent to recoup themselves and come back. But what they're going to find right now is, do they have the focus? Can they let it shake off? They've beaten this team in 3 before. They've beaten them in 4 before. There are 4 matches left. There's really no reason to panic other than to find yourselves and play the way you know you can.
Let that go, Anna.
So Coach Sippin, she said it, we just heard her say it, it's really important. Let that go, just forget about it.
Well, a loss is a loss. It doesn't, whether it was by 2 or whether it was by 10. In fact, if I was going to lose, I'd rather win by 10, because when it's by 2, you think back, oh, that one play and that one play, and you kind of live in the past a little bit longer. It's a lot easier to let go of a lopsided loss.
Here with Shell Nielsen, Santa Cruz volleyball area guru. He's still a current player as well, so if you're ever on the beach, you will see Shell somewhere. You look at the Soquel Knights bench, and you have one matchup upcoming for you, the final broadcast of our fall season. We'll have Gavilan and Cabrillo community colleges duking it out in football, so that should be a lot of fun.
If we could get into the head of the Aptos team right now, they've been down to this team all year. They've walked out of buildings after tough losses. They've gone back to every practice afterwards, figure out what are we going to do, how are we going to work at it, how are we going to push. They're here in the last game of the year for the league. If they can win this game, it's really the most important win of the season.
And Soquel, we've been kind of powering them up. They are 14-0. They are 28-4. They have played some of the best teams in Central Coast section. They'll start play this upcoming week in CCS play. Both these teams are going to the CCS tournament right now. It's just a matter of seedings. But I mean, Aptos has lost just 2 matches on the entire season in the SCCAL, so they are a very strong team as well.
I can't say enough how equally matched these are. I'm not even worried about the score of the first game. These teams are physically evenly matched. They run different systems, they run different styles. It's just a matter of making plays.
First point, they dial up Bria Morgan, the Division I commit, who's going to play for Coach Dave Shoji for the Hawaii Warriors. They've won a couple of national championships, a powerhouse. They're moving to the Big West Conference this upcoming year. Some great competition there. There's a serve for Graves, it's just a little bit long. Another player you'll be seeing on the Division I level next season.
Well, the second time she's had one sail away on her. They just really got to get control of their nerves a little bit and settle in. They've shown that they can beat this team on a repeated basis.
Wilson down the line. Morgan lets it go, and the look on her face was, uh-oh.
Well, there's a rule in volleyball. If you don't know, you play it. And if you play it and you play it well, no one knows whether it was in or out. No one really cares.
Looks like they're trying to serve at Morgan. Here they go, another serve right at Morgan.
Well, there's two ways of going about something. You can go after a team's may hitter and make her pass 2 and break her down and tire her out by having her overly have to play, or you could avoid her altogether and make her cold and try to get her out of her rhythm.
Graves serves Morgan over the way to the left side, and she puts it down the line. 2 points for Aptos, both from Bria Morgan in this set.
Well, Bria, I mean, if she's going to get served all night, I think she's up to the challenge. I think she's going to respond well. She's going to want the ball on a repeated basis. I don't think the situation's bothering her.
And we've seen Morgan play today, and when you go to Hawaii, if you go to play volleyball Hawaii, you're not going to play as an outside hitter or middle blocker. If she has the ace right there, another example, you're going there to play as an all-around player. That's their style.
Well, she would fit in perfectly. She plays on the beach. She can hit inside and out. She plays just as many times on the right side as the outside. Her jump serve obviously bringing aggression to the game, and she's a true leader.
Opolsky just tried to slice that one over. This one's down the line, just rolled in. A lot of English from Miyashita on the roll shot.
Well, that's her little beach shot. We've worked on it a little bit on the beach. Some of the girls have come down and played, and that's her out when she gets into trouble.
Yeah, we mentioned, Shell, not only you play on the beach, but you've coached a lot of these girls on the court.
Well, the wonderful thing about the Santa Cruz area is that you can play year-round. When they're off for the summer, they can find tournaments to play in, and it really molds the skills fully for plays like that.
Savoca with the easy roof, and a back and forth second set 4-3. So here's the nice play by the middle blocker.
So we got the middle blocker change direction. Right afterwards, she subs out. The gal with the different colored shirt, the libero, comes in, who made that big dig earlier, specialized server. They change and interlock their players to try to get the most out of their roster.
And we mentioned on the other side, Aptos is just playing 6 players, just staying in. Another nice kill for the Soquel Knights, 5-3. And you kind of get the feeling they're starting to maybe get a little bit going here.
I told you they were going to be okay. It was just a matter of time. And if you watch Regina on that set, she's going to jump set, I would say 95% of the time during the match.
Strieber serves it in. Caught short sets. That one was hard to take into the nets.
Well, we said earlier that the Aptos runs are kind of a slower middle. That ball was a little bit low, ran out of options, but got bailed out by the net call.
We mentioned the jump set. We've seen a lot from Graves. What are the advantages to a jump set?
Well, it's pretty deceptive. It helps with her rhythm and the timing of things. What you're really trying to do is provide a hittable play for the hitter. If you watch her play on an overall basis for the entire season, she delivers a swingable ball every time.
And that was, speaking of sets, is Miyashita put that one away, but Cotton, a tremendous set. We'll take a look at it here.
Cotton, another great setter, delivers a very hittable ball too, has a different way about her on the court, kind of quiet, kind of understated, pretty much just plays for the game.
A little bit long on the serve. Sometimes when you face somebody who's a little bit quieter with their body, is that a little bit harder to read for you?
Well, it can be misinterpreted for disinterested, which could be the case sometimes. It's open for interpretation and whatever is true. But yeah, it's you need to make a connection. But as Mark said, they played together for a long time, and I'm sure they are comfortable with it.
There's another kill. And you see it was off to the left side, DeRosa. Just inside of the line. Great call by the official.
Evened up at 6-6. We're going to look at that serving game, see if we can get it back going for Aptos. And there it is, right on cue.
A little bit of trouble for Morgan on the serve from Miyashita. Into the net, but that's fine. You always would trade a point on serve for a point lost on serve.
You would trade a point every time you went back for a lost serve, but I gotta think that the goal every time you go back is to score 3 or 4 at a time in runs.
Donaldson, who's had a bunch of tremendous digs in the back line, serves it in, and it's dug out by Roca on the back line. Morgan with the tip down the line, it's red, and Cotton with the smart thing just knocks it over. Roca, a little long, Walsh takes it into the middle, it's set, and the roof has nowhere to go for DeRosa, and Morgan was there with the roof.
That's the second time they ran that slower one that was actually just a little too short, put 2 up in the middle, and she did run out of options.
Donaldson, cross court, miscommunication, and Cotton on the 4th touch.
I think the serving game has been even here, swinging back and forth for how much trouble they've caused for each other, and it shows in the score at 9-7.
First set went to Aptos 25-17, playing for the SCCAL championship. Aptos has fallen twice in league, both times to Soquel, who are 14-0 in the league. Morgan, big swing for the Hawaii signee, but it's over to the left side. Wilson tried to roll it over. Morgan again, set by Graves. The tip is kept alive. Cotton with Roca, can't put it away. And just defensive volleyball. Finally, on the slide shot, Quinn can't put it away. Cotton sets, Wilson right in the middle.
And we saw it over and over again. They're well-trained teams, very disciplined teams, people trying to tip the balls, the holes. Those things aren't going to be open on a repetitive basis. They might go down once in a while. But sooner or later, you got to take the swing and challenge the defense.
9-8 is the lead for Soquel here in the second set. It was an easy road for both these teams into the championship rounds. They got 2 byes. Aptos defeated Harbor 25-16, 20-18. Soquel defeated Mount Madonna 8-18 and 18. Tip ball points to the Soquel Knights, 10-8 in the second.
Well, a big swing by the outside hitter. Regina delivering the ball outside. They know where they want to go when times are tough. She's going to settle the team down. It was bound to happen sooner or later, and now it's going to play out however who can make the most plays.
Quinn, cross-court serve. Cotton sets outside of the antenna. Wilson's only angle was wide. Did well with it, and it's sent over free. Cotton dials up Wilson into the net. Left-handed swipe, an athletic play. Graves knocks it over long. Cotton into the middle. And, well, sometimes better to be lucky than good. It just tips off the net, and Walsh puts the right amount of English in it for the points.
Well, that time she actually tipped to a smarter area. She didn't tip over the block and high. When the double block came, that opened up a spot short in the court, and that kind of a tip hits the ground much quicker.
Roca takes the serve. Morgan tries to put it away, but again, they get her on the cross court. Wilson, another strong swing, 10-all in the second.
What a nice answer out of Wilson. Throw the ball outside to their big hitter on Soquel's side, make the dig, throw the ball outside to your big hitter, and challenge the middle of the court and get the kill.
Back to serve. The setter, Cotton. Do you like when the setter serves, makes your offense a little bit easier?
Well, you have all 3 hitters available to you, so you have many options that makes you harder to defend. And I'm not sure why it happens, but on almost every team, the setter is one of the better servers.
Timeout called for by the Soquel Knights. They're down 11-10, and we'll talk to Coach Mark Hull last night about the senior leadership for his team.
Well, I think we're very lucky that in our team we have 5 starting seniors and a junior, and those 5 seniors have been playing volleyball since junior high, since Aptos Junior. This is the first year that we've had all 5 of them on the team at the same time. Some of them might have been playing JV in their earlier years. And so it was one practice that I looked over there and I realized these girls have been waiting 4 years to have this opportunity to play together. And I think they really, really love each other. I think they get along.
Well, we talked about it before, and what you're seeing right now is the best case scenario for Aptos. We were wondering who was going to rise up and be the leader. I believe so far, all 5 of the seniors have risen along with the setter Cotton, have risen their play, and are taking care of business in the best possible way.
There's DeRosa, who's had a couple of tremendous kills. Hull, the head coach. Bill Cotton, Shannon Cotton's father, is one of the assistant coaches. And here's a question for you, Shell. We're talking about you playing on the beach. It's another great serve and another points on serve for Aptos. But is there a player in this league that you've ever played against on the beach, and you say, when you see that player, you're like, I don't want to play against that player today?
Well, so on the guy's side,
yeah.
On the guy's side, Garrett Wilson, outside hitter for Aptos' brother, big 6'7" lefty, played for Soquel also. We actually played together at the end of last year, and we got our AAA together. It was a really fun time.
Morgan with the kill. I would guess Bria Morgan might be the last player you want to see on the opposing side when you play.
That would be, you always want to play against good competition.
That's your theory, Shell. I'd rather win. Cotton off to the left for a ball. That one just stays in.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because we heard the coach for Soquel earlier say, listen to the teams that they had played, how the score doesn't matter when they're playing. If you establish the way you're going to play, you really don't care who's in front of you.
Yeah, naming off some of those great teams, the Las Gatas Wildcats. We'll hear a little bit more about that match with Las Gatas in the third, as there's another kill for Morgan. And unofficially in this set, she has to have 6.
To take that on further, if you watch the warm-ups for Aptos, on the back of their shirts it said, at our level, which means we control our own side of the court, which is one of their keys, and they try to set their level, not dictated by who on the other side of the court.
One key for Aptos in this match has been how well they've returned and taken past serves. They did it again there, and they're able to win the point.
And the interesting thing is they do it without a passing specialist. These are people that are the same girl who's taking the big swing out on the slow one in the middle is also receiving the serve. It's a great accomplishment.
And it seems like Aptos has put a lot of pressure on Soquel on serves as well. They've had trouble just passing the ball from their back line.
I don't think there was a touch there. Yeah, correct call on the floor from the referee. One of the toughest calls from up on top is whether the block actually touches the ball or whether it hits the net and bounces back.
And from your vantage point, Shell, what has made Aptos so effective on their serve, really Soquel having trouble returning it?
Well, when you get the quick start, the confidence goes high. I said earlier in the warm-up that they were a free and easy team. I don't think the pressure is going to deal with them as harsh. We've seen the Soquel team on the other side at tight moments. Their serving has gone up and down. I think their free and easy spirit has really helped them out.
I think as well as the last point went to Aptos, and they've retaken the lead 15-13. Do you think when you have a team like Aptos that's looking to serve about 2 or 3 players mostly, that there's a little bit more pressure on the first pass?
Well, there's always pressure on the pass in women's volleyball in this area. The setters are so good on each side that once you give them options, the quality of the offense rises tremendously, exponentially.
We see the first, I believe that's the first sub of this match, Annalise Tucker, who was a defensive specialist. She replaces Bull on the back line. So this is a great rotation with a couple of defensive specialists on the back line for the Aptos Mariners. Great.
And she comes in and makes the dig. You notice she's not wearing a different color shirt though. She does not have the same rules as a libero governing her.
Graves with the pancake. Morgan wasn't able to put it away. It's sent over free. Morgan, Graves, slide attack, and Quinn puts it away.
So you'll see the Soquel middles run the slide to separate. When Regina's setting in the front row, they only have 2 hitters. So to make up for that, they have the middle come around and hit on the right side on the slide fashion, and that makes it a little harder for the defense to react. Madison
Roca on the serve. It's out wide. And it's unable to be put away by DeRosa, but into the net went Soquel. Trading point, 16-14 in the second. First went to Aptos, 25-17.
Only a 3-point lead here. The game is really going to come to a tie when one team reaches 20 points.
Soquel gets a point, 17-15. The second set, I like your opinion on this, but in my opinion, is a volleyball novice next to the guru, Shell. To me, the second set's always the most important set of the match. Would you agree with that?
I do, actually. The first one is a feeling out process. You can recover from it quickly. The difference between a 2-0 lead and a 1-1 tie is gigantic. Almost as big as that block.
And I don't think it ever went off to the other side, so 4 touches called against Soquel, 18-15.
A block there, and yes, called a no touch. One of the tougher calls as we talked about earlier.
There's a slicing attempt, and it's just wide.
As we see the defensive specialist for Soquel come off the court, we notice that she is wearing a white shirt. She has 2 governing factors. She can't be a back row attacker, and when she gets in front of the 10th line, she also cannot hand set the ball to deliver to an attacker.
Well set Morgan, cross court. It's kept alive, but just a little bit too far off for Savoca. And you see Coach Sippin jump off the bench. Very, very enthusiastic head coach.
Well, as we see, there's almost an instant replay of a play that we happened earlier. The middle blocker goes up and redirects the ball to an opening. It doesn't just block it down, but actually finds an open spot to put the ball.
17 serving 18. A little bit tenuous now. The first time the pressure's on Aptos a little bit. Soquel will set. Morgan, the tip. Ball in slow motion keeps it alive. Wilson off her back leg. Morgan asks for it. Instead, it'll go into the middle. Cotton keeps it alive. Bull sets left side. Wilson just swings it over. Roca with the first touch. Morgan. Nope. They're going to call it.
They're calling a double on Regina, which I think she might have had 5 all year. She has one of the best hands in the league. But what we saw there is really, we're getting close to that 20 mark I talked about, and nerves are coming in. We saw 3 or 4 tips there in a row.
It looks like the first time really Aptos has had a little bit of pressure on their side. Sent over free, dangerously. Cotton will recover. Wilson, again, kind of off of her back leg, can't put it away. Morgan, full swing, double block. She'll punch it back over. Cotton keeps it alive. It's Walsh, just get off the line. Big point, 2017.
Well, you got to think this game, the second game, is what we thought we would get in the first game. With Aptos actually kind of rolling in the first game, this is the emotion that we thought the Aptos team was going to have to get themselves through.
Timeout called for the first timeout of this set by Soquel. You hear the Aptos fans, they're very enthusiastic. We're here at Scotts Valley High School with the coach, the player, everything, Shell Nielsen. My name is Tim Swartz, and Shell, 25-17, Aptos controlled the first set. Second set's been a little bit back and forth, but what has Aptos done effectively in this set?
Well, we said that the game was going to start when it came 20s, which is why we're in a timeout right now. There is very little time to recover after 20, so the points become exponentially more important as we go along. So a 5-0 lead is not the same as a 20-15 lead. So now every point being precious, focus comes up, serving becomes a premium, and really to the aggressor, if you can be the aggressor in the situation, you're going to have the spoils.
In terms of this match, as we'll look at this last kill from Wilson.
Cotton delivers it outside, and we didn't get the rest of that kill.
It was a kill from Wilson. So, but it's kind of one of the interesting things. I've talked to a lot of volleyball players and coaches, and a guy named John Costa, he was the head coach for the Stanford men's team that won the national championship in 2010. He was telling me he likens the serving battle to a tug of war.
Well, it really is. It actually is a separate game. It's an emotional thing. You do it on your own. You can set the tone for an entire play. What you can't do is have a lot of service errors. So your goal is to serve tough enough to cause havoc, yet allow your team the opportunity to block, dig, or have the other team hit it out. It's a tender balance.
They keep serving Morgan, and second time the charm there. You've seen the double blocks for Morgan this entire match, it's almost like. You see the second chance.
A rare non-jumping set, but there we go. Off the side of the block. Not avoiding the block, but attacking the blocker's hands.
Cotton serves middle. This one is killed, and it's 21-18.
Once again, the right side player coming around, hitting that front two. We've seen it 4 times tonight. They're moving their hitters around. Everyone can hit from a different place. It's tough to defend.
Wilson serve. That one hits off the speaker here. You have to play it. Morgan able to kill it. 21-19.
Well, let's just call that 2 special players making a special play at a special time. What we didn't see in this replay, ball hits off the ceiling, which in this situation is still playable, and then realize the play by a line hit down the line.
Morgan's on the back line now. 19 serving 21. Bull tips off. Morgan keeps it alive. But an into the net called. And the point goes to the Mariners.
It does. A swing by Alex Bull on the outside, off the top. Blockers touch the net, negate a great defensive play by Soquel under a pressured situation.
Float serve.
Great pass.
Graves, left side of Polsky, just does the safe thing, keeps it alive. And a double block, a roof. Savoca got all that one.
Well, if you're going to challenge the block all night, which she has done, and with success, every once in a while, you're going to find a big hand in your way.
20 serving 22. It's Strieber, the defensive specialist. Over the left side, roll shot. Graves keeps it alive. Roca sets Morgan, backline attempts. But it's kept alive. Wilson put a charge into that one. Roca tried to catch the defense sleeping, didn't work. Bull off balance, right into the nets. 21-22.
Well, here we saw Nikki on the outside get her right after she got blocked the previous time before. Roll shots the next time. Now we're trying to avoid the block, a tip shot and a hit in the middle of the net. Overreacting, in my estimation, to the one big block.
So a timeout was called very late by the Aptos Mariners. If you want to check out this game, DVD copies are available for $25. Learn more by visiting us at communitytv.org/dubs. For more information, call us at 831-425-8848. That was an awfully late timeout. I don't think it was granted.
I don't think the timeout was granted. 22-21.
Big points. Strieber to serve. Floats it in the middle. Cotton. Back set. Bull. But she had into that one. She hits it through a double block. And the Aptos Mariners can side out the set.
They can. They have that 2-point advantage, which you're looking for at the end of the game, which means you control your own destiny. Each time you receive a serve, you can take care of your own business, deliver the kill. We have that same substitution that happened earlier. Defensive specialist coming in to serve.
It's Annalise Tucker, the defensive specialist. Graves back sets, and Roca with the kill.
Both teams battled through those previous nerves that we talked about with all the tipping going back and forth. The fruition of the game being on the line has inspired them to go back into aggressive swinging mode.
Roca hits this one long. Walsh takes it, Cotton into the middle. Dug out. Opolski's attempt, one just misses the speaker, and it's just out.
You see the coach from the sidelines coming out of the bench to call that ball out of bounds and helping the player, which I'm not sure how that's going to go over. Timeout called, 23-23.
We just look at that replay, and it was awfully, awfully close, but it looked like it was just out. 23 all, Soquel and Aptos. Well, look at that point again. This is a significant point because Aptos wins it. It's 24-22, and they have a couple of set points. Let's take a look.
Tracking the ball down the line, just out of bounds, and if you see out of the corner, the coach of the SoCal team stepping out saying, do not play that ball.
And Coach Sippin, almost a 7th player on the court. Very intense.
Well, when it's 23 all and you got the championship on the line, emotions run high, I'd get involved too.
23-23. Madison Roca, the 5'11 junior, serves it in. Walsh takes it a little bit overhead, and Todd can't really deal with it. Soquel with a set point. Timeout called for by Aptos.
This is the exact moment that we were looking for. Who is going to step up in this situation for Aptos to take care of the ball?
So nerves high here for Aptos. I kind of mentioned it. Aptos really hasn't had any pressure on him, and this is the first time they've kind of had a little bit of pressure on him, and they're starting to wilt a little bit.
Well, I don't think it's unexpected. There's certainly time to go through this wave and find yourself and come through on the other side. So I don't think we're in an uncharted ground here. The game is still well within hand, but someone has to be the person that's going to stand up for Aptos and say, I will take care of these next 3 points for us.
We talked about it off the air a little bit. That's the one disadvantage of having 6 players that always play even you know, in terms of who gets the attempts.
They play even roles on the court. They have equal responsibility on the court. When you look at the SoCal side of the court, they know who they're going to go to in this situation. Aptos may not know,
Cotton.
but everybody capable.
Sets, and there's a big kill for DeRosa. Yeah, on Soquel's side, we know they're going to try to get it to Morgan. Aptos' side, we don't know, which makes it harder to block, but on offense, it makes it a little bit harder to decide.
It does, but as a setter, as Cotton's job right now is to find the hot hitter, look into your eyes, do you want the ball, and deliver to that person.
Miyashita into the net, and a slide. Roca kept it alive, but a call against Soquel, and now Aptos gets a set point.
A chance to serve for game. Nikki, our high jumper at 5'4", back at the line. Jump floaters coming, a chance to seal second game.
This one just slices over. And Morgan off the back line. Looked like it was going long, and Walsh just put a little bit of a touch onto it. 25 all.
Plays out exactly how we think. We have a designated passer on the side wearing the white shirt, and the libero makes the pass. They forego the front row players and set the big hitter in the back row, and she takes care of business for them.
And Morgan is to the left side of the front as the ball is served in by Donaldson. They'll set out wide, and Wilson with the kill. Another set point, the second for Aptos in the second set. They took the first.
Well, the second time Wilson has answered the call from the big hitter from Soquel and done the job herself too, challenging the block that time, staying away from the roll shot from earlier.
Here's the serve, it's short, And Graves, an acrobatic play just to keep it alive. Cotton sets Wilson again, rolled. Morgan keeps it alive. Roca will have it sent over free. Cotton sets Wilson for the second time, tips off the block. Graves is gonna set Morgan left side, but it's kept alive by Biashita. The tip at the net! Yes for Wilson, second set, 27-25 for the Aptos Mariners. 2-0, and Soquel just looked shocked.
Well, Wilson answering the call right there, taking 2 big swings, got a set at the end of that rally a little too tight. And we talked about it earlier. When the tip is not over the block, but where the blockers came from in a shorter set with less time to react to it, those tips are likely to go down.
We'll take a look at that final point again.
A great save by Regina. This is where we threw the ball outside. I don't believe this is the kill shot. This is off the top of the block. Saved. Another free ball sent over, and there's a reason they call them free, folks, because we don't want to give free balls to the other team. Throw it outside again, off the top. There she's still challenging the top of the block in good presence. A dig from Nikki on the outside, a bump set. This set is a little too tight, goes up with the left hand, changes the direction, and that makes a tough play, and that is game.
So 25-17, 27-25. Aptos has taken the first 2 sets of this match. With Kjell Nielsen, I'm Tim Swartz. As you look at the huddle for Soquel, a little bit shocked right now. You kind of looked at their faces after that set, and really there was really no emotion there. Kind of was like they were like, "What's going on?"
Well, they haven't been in this position all year. They're in a new place. Their goal, which is to win the championship, is still in front of them. You got to think though that this game that we saw in the second game was the game we thought we were going to see in the first game. A tightly contested match where emotions were going to go back and forth and whether who was going to step up and take care of business in a close match. The first one, I think, was an aberration.
As we look at some of the people that we want to thank to helped us put this broadcast together. Cruz Internet, Santa Cruz County's largest independent internet service provider, offering high-speed wireless internet, co-location data center, and flexible workspaces with 10 gigabytes of fiber internet. Details online at cruzio.com. And by Santa Cruz County, Santa Cruz Diner in Santa Cruz County, where you'll always find great food at reasonable prices. Family owned and operated since 1998, Santa Cruz Diner is kid-friendly and offers a wide selection of traditional and vegan items. Their great staff and comfortable atmosphere will make you feel right at home. Featured on the Food Channel, easy to find on Ocean Street in Santa Cruz, on the web at santacruzdiner.com. Great food, priced right at the Santa Cruz Diner. So we're here at Scotts Valley High School, beautiful facility and one of the newest schools in the SCCAL, and we'll let you know about our next 2 broadcasts, Gavilan and Cabrillo in football, and we'll also have all the best stars you've seen all season long here on the CTV Game of the Week and the Lions Club Bowl. Aptos breaks their huddle, and we look at this Aptos highlights.
Sending the free ball over to Aptos, the middle playing the set, down the line. I think a nice dig. Most of the rallies, the level of play has been great. The focus has been great. Serving has gone up and down during the match. And that was the shot that went down into the corner.
Yeah, it was a kill.
From McKenna.
Yeah. McKenna Walsh. Been so many great players in this area. We were talking about Coach Costi at Stanford. He has a guy you're very familiar with, Brian Cook, who started last year at outside hitter. His sister, Carissa, is the setter for the Stanford women's team, which is top 10 in the country. I mean, can you name some other great players that you've played with in this area?
Well, so I'm very attached to the old guard. So Kent Kitchell, Gary Geisen, Mike Morgan, Slivy. There's a great legends of the game around here. They are still out there playing. It's a joy even just to go watch them at the beach.
Kjell Nielsen himself, a legend of the game, still out there playing. When's for those out there that want to play on the beach, when's maybe the best time to play?
Well, there's so many avenues in the Santa Cruz area. There's a thing called the No Attitudes tournaments for beginners to get involved in. There are CBVA events for the higher levels. You come down on a Saturday, there's 14 courts available at Main Beach. You can get on almost any time in any playing level. It's a very welcoming environment.
Fans, new and old, enjoying this match. See Regine Graves.
Checking the lineups, you got to think we can take the first game and basically just throw it out. It was an aberration. We had a tightly contested second game. two things happening right now. Soquel gonna bear down, get down to fundamentals and stay aggressive and just try to maintain and believe in themselves and what they can get accomplished. The Aptos has to deal with an even entirely different emotion that they have dealt with in the entire season. They have their goal right in front of them, can knock down Goliath, basically, their biggest rival the entire year, and it's only 25 points away. A different kind of emotion to have to deal with. Neither easy.
And for Soquel, they are in Division 4. Some of the good teams they'll be facing, perhaps Mercy of Burlingame, Notre Dame, Belmont in their CCS section, as that will start up this week. And just out for Roca, and a good job by, I guess you could say, the third linesman, Mark Hull, who immediately put his hands up.
Well, he has a vested interest too, and I think both our coaches are going to get as involved as they can to try to influence the outcome here tonight.
Running float serve from Cotton into the back line. Morgan touched it first, and Roca will roll it over. Cotton over to the left. Hard right next to our microphone, put out by Daniel James Howell. Cotton couldn't keep it alive, and a point to Soquel. Even at one in the third set, 25-17, 27-25, Aptos took the first two.
Well, we're only tied at one, but I think you're going to find as soon as a team faces elimination in a game, which is happening right now for Soquel, every point from now on for the rest of the night is just going to rise in intensity. So wherever we're at now, in a half an hour, it's going to be much higher.
Another point for Soquel. Morgan serving. That one is tipped, and it was touched at the net.
Can the free-spirited emotions that we talked about with Aptos, not sure if we had a touch there, but you know, human error is part of it, and the same rest for both sides, things are all equal.
That serve is a little bit long. Yeah, Faith Popolski's who's on that side, a junior, who's pretty animated. She said it hit off the net. Remember we mentioned Faith hit a huge home run, actually, against Aptos on our softball game. Here's the serve. And Strieber's serve is taken well. Bull with a full swing. That one was just tipped at the net, and it tips off the top. And Aptos will get a point, 3 up in the third.
All started with a nice pass. We've seen the passers settle down here a little bit at the end. Maybe because the serving's got toned down. We'll see if how that plays out for the rest of the game.
It seems like over the course of the match, serves, because it takes the most out of you, kind of usually the thing that teams you lose a little bit of.
Well, it's certainly not because of the physical aspect of serving. It's the emotional situation of being isolated back there and having to play on your own. And the mounting pressure of the score and the situation coming down on you that really makes the biggest change.
Miyashita, another good job to have another kill. Morgan takes it first. They keep serving at Morgan. Roca, cross court. Cotton keeps it alive. Bull, a nice set for Miyashita, but she can't put it away. Roca just taps it over. Cotton, short set. There was a powerful swing from DeRosa.
Well, as we've seen all night long, when DeRosa gets that little extra half second to elevate and take an aggressive swing, she's delivered on every occasion.
We mentioned all the kind of contrast of styles between Aptos, who's 12-2 in league, and Soquel, who's 14-0. Soquel, we know who their big-time hitter is. It's Morgan, as there's another point for the Aptos Mariners at 6-3. But how about the matchup between these two setters? Cotton, very calm setter, and Graves, who's more the high-energy setter.
Well, they both deliver a very hittable ball. They just lead their teams in different fashions. I want to make it clear, I don't really believe just because they play different styles that one is right or wrong.
Yeah.
I think both coaches have chosen a style that matches their rosters. I think they've gotten the most out of the rosters, and they've put both their teams in a position to win.
There's another point. The thing I like about Cotton, the way she sets, is just for me personally, I don't know about you, but I would much rather face somebody who's high energy out there, because Cotton, you just don't know what she's going to do, because she sets every ball almost. It's the same setup.
Well, the same setup and different. Oh, big block out of ball right there. Tide turning here a little bit at 8-3. Cotton's big challenge is to find the hot hitter, see in tune with who's making plays, and then when they're off, switch to another hitter.
Graves will set Morgan. Man, that one's just in. When in doubt, you go to Bria Morgan. 8-4, the lead cut to 4 for Aptos.
Well, you see it there. They, they're in a tough situation right here. They're down 8-4. Even though Bria's in the back row, she's probably going to be their focal point of their offense, even from the back row.
Here's back set. Bull cross court. And Bull, who's a very, very tall player, has good arms, and he was able to put it away. Listed as a right side specialist. 9-4. Bull goes down the line. They serve out wide off the antenna for Miyashita, and the points to Soquel.
Well, we're in the early stages of the game. It's 9-5. Aptos has a small lead, but it's in this stage of the game, I don't want to say meaningless, but the score in the beginning of the game not nearly as effective as the score in the end of the game.
And a powerful swing and a kill, DeRosa.
She's having a great match. So if I can clarify that, a 5-point lead at the beginning of the game, easy to overcome. We have a lot of time left. A 5-point lead, as we get towards the score of 25, each point becomes more and more insurmountable.
Miyashita. Short. Graves sets out wide. Morgan long. 11-5.
Well, Morgan still has the great attitude. She's taking the hard swing towards the corner. A little miss there. Didn't get the touch off the block. But her style of play has not wavered, and I got to commend her for that.
See Coach Sippin, hands on her head, is just, I think the Soquel team's a little bit shell-shocked, and Aptos has come out as the aggressor. More great defense from Miyashita. Low set. That's maybe the first kind of bad set we've seen all night from Cotton, who's been tremendous.
Actually, not a bad set. Miscommunication between the middle. She set a good front set. The middle went around to the back set. So the set was executed right. Miscommunication between the two players.
And DeRosa's just talking to her coach saying, you know what, I should have probably not gone for that route. Cotton, send it over free. That's a great job by Walsh. It's just wide, though.
Just missed the line. Very much the same as the ending play of the second game.
7 serving 11. You see Morgan. She's starting to try to pump up her teammates. But it's just wide.
You can't count the Soquel team out right now. They have the leadership. They know where they're going to go. It won't take more than 3 or 4 plays in a row to change the atmosphere of the building and get things going in their favor.
Back to serve is DeRosa, wearing these sharp, hot pink shoes. This one's tipped off the block, and DeRosa on cue uses those shoes to slide down and make the play. Cross court for Wilson.
And now we see DeRosa in the defensive mode, hitting in the middle, hitting on the outside, now playing little back, makes the move, makes the dig, delivered. The point delivered by Wilson for her team.
DeRosa serves it in. Seems like that's been the sweet spot to serve as Soquel misses it. Because the middle of the court is where Aptos has tried to serve all night.
Well, so the middle is the best place to go when you're unsure exactly what you do want to do. And middle short brings everybody in and cuts off the approaches of the big hitters.
So we do have the first timeout of this set, 14-7. And during this timeout, we're going to take a listen in to Kamala Sippin and what she had to say about an early match for her team on this season.
We knew that any team we play from the Bay Area or over the hill is going to come prepared, come wanting to absolutely annihilate us, and we knew that we wanted to fight, and we did that our first match of the season, which was against Los Gatos here. We went 5 games and absolutely went point for point with them, and I really feel like that set the pace for my team. They wanted that match. We ended up losing, but it was a great loss. I don't know if that's possible, but it was a great loss, and the girls learned from that they're going to fight for every single match, and since then it's been point for point, game for game, no matter if we're ahead or behind. I mean, tonight we were down in the 3rd game, and it doesn't matter to them. The scoreboard does not matter to this team, so they're fighters.
SoCal.
As we listen to that, the scoreboard does not matter. Is the exact emotion that they need to tap into right now, because the scoreboard truly does not matter. Getting on track, getting your system back in order, getting your confidence back, and forget about the scoreboard and play is exactly where they need to go.
Walsh in the middle. The score 14-8 in favor of the Aptos Mariners, trying to make it an almost unthinkable 3-set sweep. Wilson down the line, and there's a kind of a slap over by Roca. It's read out by Biashita. Wilson again is dug out by Graves.
Wow. Double call on the, so right there, the Aptos 2 times in a row attacks the setter of the Soquel team, effectively taking Regina out of their offense, and then the double call on the backup setter, put in a position that she's not normally in.
Cotton serves it in. Graves does well to set up Morgan. We talked about both those players being Division I talents, and that is a Division I play.
It really was. You got to tap into the idea of what Aptos is going through right now. They've been climbing this ladder for an entire season, and it's right there in front of them. And I think they're handling it really, really well.
That serve, thankfully, just a couple inches to the left of our monitor. It's mishit by Aptos. 10 serving 15, so Soquel starting to get back into this set.
Well, you got to think Mark Hall's hoping for is a small 2 or 3 point set of adversity right here that they can get through and then overcome and then get back on a roll again, and not try to just cruise through this and think it's all going to be easy.
The Aptos Mariners here at Scotts Valley trying to overcome undefeated in league Soquel, 28-4 overall. They are 12-3 on neutral sites. Here's a set towards the middle. Cotton keeps it alive. That one might have been put a little bit long, but they'll keep it alive. Morgan, way into the net went Walsh.
Well, you got to jump pretty high and be pretty aggressive to put up a block against Morgan out of the back row. Got a little out of control there, and you can see them laughing off, and that is part of the Aptos of mildness of attitude. But you see the coach there saying it's time to focus.
11 serving 16. Cotton will serve, ball. She tries to tip it. It's hit 3 times, it looked like, by Polsky.
3 or maybe 4. A rare tip out of Alex. The set a little too tight, a little too low. She really didn't have another option.
Substitution for Soquel. Gabby David, who was part of the original 6, comes into this match for Opolskis.
Got to be a tough place to come into, pulled off the bench into a new position, down 11-17.
They serve once again middle to Morgan. Back set. Roca, that one's just in.
Just a great swing into the corner from the right sider. Over the block, into the corner. No one playing defense there.
Gut check time for the Soquel Knights. They trail 17-12 in the 3rd set. And they're down 2-0 here on CTV Sports.
Well, we talked about that ticker that comes at 20. They got to make the run before they get there, so the pressure isn't too great.
Cotton sets this one. It's tipped by Bull, and Graves really was able to sniff it out, but an unfortunate ball right into the dome of DeRosa.
Second, too tight of a set to Bull in a row. She goes with the tip, and our player who just came in that we set under that pressure situation, delivering a kill coming back the other way.
Yeah, Gabby David, sophomore. Big situation for her. Roca, float serve middle. Walsh takes it. Cotton sets towards the middle. Again, there is that play to DeRosa.
Well, so again with the good pass, which sets the tone for the situation, it's not a true 1. It's a 1.5. You can see the time she has. It gives her time to elevate, see an opening, a hitting lane, and then aggressively go after it with a big swing.
18 serving 13. Ball, once again, they serve the middle. Seems like a broken record. Slide, little long from Quinn. And danger time, it's 19-13.
It is, and we go back to DeRosa. We were wondering who was going to rise for Aptos. You got to think up to this point, DeRosa has been the person who has stepped up their game and led by making the plays.
Aptos, this team has played together really since 7th grade. They're a very, very talented team, and Bull with a perfect knuckle serve, able just to sneak it in. And Soquel down 20-13, down 2-0 here in the championship match. Timeout, Coach Sipper.
Well, we talked about that magic number 20, and each time somebody reaches it, boom, there goes the timeout. You got a 7-point lead for Aptos right now. It's not time to exhale yet. It's not time to relax. But it is time to believe in yourself and bring in aggression and know that you have your prize that you've been working for an entire season right in front of you.
We'll take another look at the last points.
It's Alex Bull on the deep floater near the back line. We have 2 players, 2 of the leaders of the SoCal team, both opening up their shoulders to each other, not sure if they thought it was out or the other person was going to take it.
Coach Sippin's trying to get her team going. For Aptos, for Coach Bill Cotton, for their head coach Mark Hull.
Let's go to the flip side just a little bit over to SoCal. You've worked your entire season. It's not, by means not the end in front of you because they're both going to CCS playoffs coming up after this. But winning your league was a primary goal. It's a tough emotional place to be in right now. I think they're handling it well, and I don't think that they're done trying.
Great dig on the back line by Wilson. Miyashita tried to roll it down the line. Graves with the dump and be able to put it in.
1 point at a time. You got to play it 1 point at a time. The coach said we're not going to play the score. We're not going to let the score matter. If they can make a string here of 2 or 3 in a row and they can change the emotion of the game, they can change their fortunes.
Float serve is in. Cotton sets middle. Miyashita, a little bit of trouble on that. Morgan needs a big swing. Wilson's able to keep it alive. Miyashita double blocked at the net. Wilson might have overhit that one. Cotton awkwardly hits it over. Miyashita keeps it alive. They'll set to Morgan on the tip. Nobody behind. Cotton and DeRosa, 2015, 2 straight. SoCal needed them, and they got him.
They got him. A couple great plays by several players, but that time the tip was open. That ball should not go down.
Cotton sets left wide. DeRosa dug out by Strieber. Graves, you know she's going to Morgan, and Morgan puts it away.
Their leaders stepping up at a big time, and as I said, if you can string 2 or 3 points together and you can change the emotion of the game, you can apply pressure, and that can change everything.
And the one good thing for SoCal is when you're down, you see the face right there, you go to Bria Morgan.
You don't have to wonder who's going to turn this game around for you. You don't have to wonder if it's on your shoulders. You need to extend the rally if you need to, if you're a role player, not put the weight of the game on your shoulders, support her in every situation, and feed off of her energy.
And we talk about, rotations. We talked about a little bit during this match. For SoCal, how important is it to score points when Morgan's on her front side rotation?
Oh, it's imperative. It's imperative. You score your points while she goes through the front row. You look at the scoreboard when she goes to the back row, and you're trying to tread water. I don't want to use the word, until she gets back to the front row, because you know you're in a scoring opportunity every time she walks up to the net.
And the best hitter in Santa Cruz County. 16 serving 20. Big point. Miyashita. A violation against Aptos.
So you see those nerves coming, and what we have is Morgan, the big hitter, left front right now, which means she's going to be in this spot in the front row. Their scoring opportunity for the next 3 rotations, a clear chance to make a comeback.
Cassidy Donaldson serves into Miyashita. Cotton serves back line, and she sets Wilson. They'll go to Morgan with extra emphasis and the kill.
So you see Aptos changing their approach. DeRosa hitting outside right now, been leading the game. I think the MVP of the matches so far, not getting a ball in this long stretch.
Walsh takes it really well. DeRosa in the back line. Strieber somehow keeps it alive, but great defensive volleyball from the SoCal. Just couldn't get it over the net.
Well, right on cue. We got a good pass there. We delivered a ball out to DeRosa with some time, some space. She's been taking the swing all night long. I think she's capable of taking this match home.
18 serving 21. Great serve. Miyashita puts it away. 22 serving 18. That was a pivotal point.
It really was, and we talked about it earlier. 5-4 from the service line, 6-7 from the service line. Does not matter. Attitude is everything.
Miyashita, another great serve. She serves it to Morgan. They try to set back to Morgan. Tip to the net. Kept alive by Wilson. Miyashita just tips that one over. This one is put over by Graves. And into the net, Brent Graves.
Well, we got the prize right here in front of us, 2 points away. Miyashita going back to serve. I got to think she's going to stay in a situation where she's going to be aggressive. She doesn't care if she misses the serve. She is just going to try to deliver a blow.
Miyashita, that one's called in, 24-18.
Right on cue, aggressive to the point. Going back, she doesn't care if she misses this one again. I got to tell you, it's not a consequence if she misses. It's only a consequence if she stays aggressive.
24 serving 18. This is the match point. Graves tries to put it away, and she won't. Eventually she will. You see some nervous fans on the Soquel side. 19 serving 24. 5 points. Cotton, it's for the match. DeRosa can't put it away. Morgan, just in.
Answering the pressure of the situation. The hardest hit to deliver in a game. At down 24-19, you deliver a line hit like that. That says everything you need to know about that player.
Here's the serve in from Quinn. This is Wilson for the championship. No, it's dug out in the back line. Morgan is double blocked into the net, but Graves can't keep it alive. 3-set sweep, 25-17, 27-25, 25-20. The winner, the Aptos Mariners. What a match for Aptos. Almost a perfect match.
Almost a perfect match. They climbed the mountain tonight. They started at the bottom of the mountain at the beginning of the year. They've climbed it all the way to the top, and they won the last match of the year, and that's what matters.
So it was a 3-set victory, 25-17, 27-25, and the final set was 25-20 in favor of the Aptos Mariners. The Mariners, after dropping their first 2 matches of the year, the only 2 matches that they dropped in League 2, the Soquel Knights, get their revenge in the one that counted. Shell Nielsen is standing by with our 2 players of the match. It was a 3-set sweep for the Aptos Mariners, and Shell is ready with our 2 players of the match, Nikki Miyashita and Carly DeRosa, who are standing by with Shell.
Hi. We just won a match of the century for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Way to cap off a senior year. It's an amazing thing to get done. How do you describe the night?
Well, I don't know. We worked so hard and we worked so well together and just pulled, I don't know, just came in the end for us. We all just came together.
It's an emotional thing, right?
Very emotional.
You proud of yourselves?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. So, looking forward to CCS.
Yes.
What are our goals for CCS?
To stay focused and play as a team like we've been playing the past couple days.
Well, I think if you guys do that, you're going to end up just fine. Aptos takes down Soquel. Championship game. Congratulations.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, thanks a lot, Shell, with Carly and Nikki. A couple of great matches from DeRosa and Miyashita. And the final 3-set victory for Aptos over Soquel. We'll take one final break, and when we come back, some final thoughts and the final highlights here from Scotts Valley High School. You're watching the Game of the Week here on Community Television. You see the final, Aptos sweeps Soquel. The number 2 seed Mariners defeat the number 1 seed Knights for the SCCAL Girls Volleyball Championship. Here on CTV Sports, we want to thank everybody that's helped us out. Cruz.io Internet, Santa Cruz County's largest independent internet service provider, offering high-speed wireless internet, co-location data center, and flexible workspaces with 10 gigabytes of fiber internet. Details online at cruzio.com. And by Santa Cruz Diner, where you'll always find great food at a reasonable price. Family-owned and operated since 1998, Santa Cruz Diner is kid-friendly and offers a wide selection of traditional and vegan items. Their great staff and comfortable atmosphere will make you feel right at home. Featured on the Food Channel, easy to find on Ocean Street in Santa Cruz, on the web at santacruzdiner.com. Great food, priced right at the Santa Cruz Diner. Back here at Scotts Valley High School with the man, the myth, the legend, Shell Nielsen, Tim Swartz, and Shell, you've been around for a lot of matches here in the Santa Cruz area. Another great one today. Let's check out how this match-up turned out between the Soquel Knights and the Aptos Mariners. And early on, I think a big theme in this match was the talented Morgan really being shut down.
Well, I'm not going to say shut down.
Slowed down.
Slowed down and matched by a group of players on the other side of the court.
You saw offensively, Cotton, the setter, had a very strong match, as did the middle blocker, DeRosa.
As we saw there on that slow one in the middle and on the outside hit right there, DeRosa, we talked about who would rise for the Aptos team. DeRosa high on the list of people who rose and helped them to this victory.
There was a kill from Morgan. Shut down, not the right word. Thank you, Shell. It was slowed down. She had a great match as always, but here was the match point, and here's how it ended.
And that's Wilson on the outside taking a swing, and then Morgan getting blocked. A tough end to the league match. They have CCS coming up for both teams. This is not the end of their season.
Yeah, both teams will go into the CCS tournament. Unfortunately, Soquel Division 4, Aptos Division 3, so we won't have round 4 of this great battle, but they always say how hard it is to beat 3 teams in a season. This was matchup number 3 after Soquel took the first 2, and the Aptos Mariners 3-0 victors. Any final thoughts from this match?
Well, you look at Aptos, they climb the mountain. 2 teams that play different styles, evenly matched teams. This is why they play the game. They don't just say, well, they won the last 2, they'll win the next one. Didn't see this one coming. From the outside. Inside, I had a little idea.
Special match here at Scotts Valley High School between these 2 SCCAL rivals. We'll be back out on the gridiron, so we'll go outside. Hopefully it won't be too cold for Kurt Edwards and company as Gavilan takes on Cabrillo College. That is our next broadcast. We'll also have the Lions All-Star Game after that broadcast. As always, it'll be Sunday night. That matchup will be on November 13th at 7 p.m. right here on Comcast 25, Charter 71. Or if you have a friend out there that wants to watch any of these games, always go to communitytv.org/CTV1, and you can watch these games on demand. For Shell, for our entire staff here on community television, my name is Tim Swartz, reminding you the final. The champions, the number 2 Aptos Mariners in 3 sets over the Soquel Knights here in the SCCAL Volleyball Championships. For our entire staff here at CTV, my name is Tim Swartz. We'll see you next time.